Welcome to Reddit Reads, r/ProRevenge. Our first Reddit post is from Clickety Clickety. I was recently privy to this email conversation from a friend who is a tabletop RPG developer. Names and details have, of course, been changed. From Chris email to Tom email. Subject cancelled orders help. To whom this may concern, I am inquiring personally about New Populorp, which was recently released by Big Explosions. We have placed several orders for large quantities of this title due to high demand, and each time we place it, we receive the below attached message that our order unfortunately had to be rejected. I understand this may be a glitch in your system of some sort, but I would be very appreciative if you could resolve this so we can order this title. Yours, Chris, owner Big Down Home RPG Games Store. From Tom email to Chris email. Subject re-cancelled orders help. Hi Chris. It's been a long time. I don't know if you remember me, but I actually grew up in hometown and frequented your store through middle school and high school. Your store and the games we played made an incredible impression on me and influenced my career path. It made me want to write and develop role-playing games, which led me to start Small Indie Gaming Co. and move out here to Seattle to collaborate with other developers and develop it. You might recall back in 2016 that New Populorp was initially released as an indie title called New Less Populorp. We fronted the costs on publishing and marketing and sought out game stores in the Northwest United States to playtest our games. I, however, never forgot your kindness and those years spent in the back room of your store playing Magic the Gathering and D&D. So I took a 16-hour road trip to show up at your store and personally ask you if you would be interested in selling it on your shelves upon release. At that time, you told me that you only had room for big titles and that you couldn't accept every indie RPG developer that knocks on your door. I then offered to send you free copies of the title to sell for 100 profit because honestly I just wanted to have my own RPG on the shelves in the store that was so important to my youth, but you laughed. You laughed and told me again that you only had room for big titles, that the RPG industry was really cutthroat, and that you didn't have room for even one copy of my book. Last year, in 2018, I was privileged to merge with and acquire the much larger Big Explosions Publishing and all of its titles. We are sincerely blessed to be able to share the love of works internationally. And this year, we re-released my game as New Populorp with a $500,000 marketing campaign that has been incredibly successful. In conclusion, Chris, you are free to order absolutely any title from the Big Explosions distribution list. There are many to choose from. However, the distributor has been given strict instruction not to distribute New Populorp to your store. I'm sure there are much bigger titles that can fill your shelves. Yours most sincerely, Tom, Director, Big Explosions Gaming. Edit: I have been getting requests for info about the game or the store. I cannot and will not divulge this info as it would violate Rule 4. Thanks. This comment is from Hascandies. Oh my. Lol. That's what you get though. A lot of those guys are such condescending pricks. I remember my 7-year-old trying to ask a question about a game I was getting ready to drop about 800 on some Warhammer stuff, and 200 for little man. This dude had the nerve to tell my kid if he had to ask the question then he's definitely too stupid to play the game. I was blown away. I had all this Warhammer shit on the counter ready to pay when he said that shit. I asked him to repeat himself. I grabbed my kid and walked out and went a quarter mile down the street to his competition, explained what happened, and the guy made my son a VIP of his store and let him go in back and see his workbenches and craft stations and shit. A few months later, I drove past the original shitty guy's store, and he was out of business. Assholes. These kids are your next generation of customers. Don't be an unnecessary douche. Edit forgot to mention I spent $1,000 at the second store, and dude did not know I was going to do that until after he made my kid a VIP edit to clarity. This comment is from Lampish Thing. This comment is from Godnum Bob. Make me want to watch Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman again. Talk about revenge. Now a word from today's sponsor. Surfshark is an all-around VPN solution that can do everything from torrenting as well as streaming to browsing the dark web. Surfshark is one of the very best all-round VPN, terrific for Netflix, torrenting, confidential browsing, as well as staying safe on public Wi-Fi. Check out Surfshark today, link is in the description. Now back to the video. Our next Reddit post is from Extremolatiredfer. I reported my former landlord to the IRS for tax fraud as revenge for him making up lies on me to keep my deposit. He had to file for bankruptcy and lost his condo. I'm glad he lost his fucking house. I found this guy on Craigslist a few years ago. I like renting condos from private owners as opposed to renting apartments. Typically, by renting a condo, it's safer. You have more caring residents, you get to have a luxury apartment-style home with all the amenities, and you can negotiate pricing, etc. I am an excellent tenant, and anyone who I have rented from will tell you that. I paid a $1,000 deposit to move into this guy's condo. I was on a year lease. He lives in another state, but we were on the same time zone. On month 8 of my lease, I came home to a door that wouldn't open. I couldn't get the door unlocked for shit. I had 2 keys on me. As much as I tried to turn them, I couldn't. One of the keys even broke in the lock. I waited 2 hours. I called, texted, and emailed my landlord, and he did not pick up. I thought maybe he had someone to change the locks for some reason. I honestly didn't know what to think and had no one to help. The lady who lived across from me saw me in distress as she was going into her apartment. I had never seen her, but she asked me if I were okay, and I explained to her that I couldn't get into the apartment. She told me that she knows of an on-call locksmith. She gives me his number. I tell her thanks and reach out to my landlord a few more times. No response. I had no choice but to call the locksmith, plus I had to pee like shit. The locksmith arrives and could not get the door unlocked with my key. He says he can replace the lock for like $100. I told him I was renting a condo and couldn't get in touch with the owner and didn't know when would be the next time I could get in touch with him. After he took the lock off, so he replaced the lock. I told the landlord this via email and text and voicemail and told him that I could send him copies of the keys if he wanted. So fast forward to the end of my lease. I demand that he does a walkthrough with me. He said he wouldn't. I told him that if he didn't do a walkthrough, I would be notifying the condo office as he did not have permission to sublease by the association. He then had a friend to serve as his proxy to come meet me and walk through the unit. The place was spotless. I know how to clean. I took multiple photos and videos and showed his proxy, who is a police officer, the unit. Actually, they are both police officers who used to work together. We both literally tested all the appliances, faucets, checked the blinds, carpets, hardwood, everything. His proxy gave me the okay and said that everything looked great. I give his proxy the keys and later that night left for my new city. So fast forward to a month later, I haven't heard from him about my deposit. He ignored all my emails and phone calls. He finally gets back with me 2 months. Broken blinds. Scratches on the hardwood floor. He made it seem like I damaged his door by getting the lock replaced. He said there were scratches on the outside of his door. Rust here and there. Broken dishwasher. Broken sink. Oven was broke. Broken dryer. SMFH, just all fucking lies. I would never leave a unit in that condition. He sent me an itemized list of all the charges that magically came out to be $1,000. The same as my deposit. He was always planning to keep my money. He wanted that money to either ball on it or upgrade his condo. I hated him. I decided I wasn't going to go to court, because I had moved to a different state and live alone, but I thought of something. He rented to me under the table and likely didn't claim my rent payments as earned income. I had all my wire transfers on my bank statement. I had his routing account number and a copy of his driver's license, as we agreed to swap-its when I signed the lease to make sure I wasn't getting scammed. I found his out-of-state address online, gathered all my bank statements, gathered his bank account numbers, and made a report with the IRS. About a few years later, I check up on things, and that bastard lost his condo and lost everything he owned in bankruptcy. I paid for and downloaded his court records and saw proof that he lost everything, including his condo and cars, and had his bank accounts seized. I'm not sure if he has went to jail or anything, but I'm so glad that bastard got his fucking karma. He stole money from me that I gave him to rent a condo, and he ends up losing that same condo to bankruptcy. Fuck him and anyone who calls him a friend. He can rot for all I care. This comment is from TSM. I wouldn't be surprised if your Topov uncovered something much larger and more systematic. It tends to work out that way. This comment is from Stormy8888. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Also, the IRS are the best people to report him to. They're relentless, and IRS debt is one of two kinds of debt that can't be forgiven by bankruptcy. This comment is from Bleacherblind. I'm pretty sure the IRS has a whistleblower settlement or something like 10 of whatever funds they seize if you turn someone in. You should look into that. Doc deserved it. That was Reddit Reads r/ProRevenge. If you like this content, please subscribe and click the bell icon so you are notified of new uploads. We upload new videos every day. Also subscribe to our Patreon, as that will help us a lot. See you next time.